morning and hello everybody and welcome to another Kerfuffle showcase here. I am delighted to have with me here today Dan and Max from Moveable. Gents, how are you?
Yeah, good, Simon. Good, Simon. Thank you. How are you?
You're looking good. You're looking reasonable there, Dan. You're looking, that's like, as I said, I think Max is in sort of gateway to heaven syndrome there. You've gone a bit over the top, haven't you? With
a bit ethereal. It's making me come up nearly as pink as your t-shirt, Simon.
Perfect. Well, that's that. Yeah, as long as it's all that we've thought about that brand really clearly. Guys, thank you very much. Thanks for getting engaged with the Kerfuffle platform. We're very excited to have you on board as we talk about with everybody here. This first introduction, if you like, is literally that. You know, forget that anybody else that knows you out there. We're really to get to the bottom of what you guys are doing, what problems you're solving, and of course a bit of background so they can understand a little bit more. We're talking today about the webinar is support and delight your customers throughout their home move. And of course, if that doesn't catch many agents' attentions just with that, then I don't know what else we have to be. But before we start off, would you just mind just giving me the briefest background of yourself and obviously, you know, your roles at Moveable?
Yeah, no, I'll kick off. So my name's Dan Rogers. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer of the Moveable business. I've worked in sales now for just over 20 years, a number of different roles, but predominantly selling technology solutions over those 20 years. But my responsibility within the business is for everything that's customer facing. So from all of the marketing strategy, all of the selling strategy, all of the process we put in place and how we support our customers post-sale falls under my remit.
Okay, thank you.
And I'm Max Whiteford, so I'm Chief Product Officer for Moveable. So I'm in charge of all things tech and product. I work with our developers, listen to customer feedback, try and incorporate that into our roadmap and into the product that we're building. I actually come from an online advertising background, so my transition into the world of property has been a strange one over the last 5 years, going from the front of line tech to this industry, but it's one that's picking up well, I think, and is interesting now.
So as far as I'm concerned, we've got the two head honchos here, the important parts of the business, as is befitting an interview with obviously the pink Kerfuffle machine. Absolutely. So thank you for taking us so seriously. It's appreciated. So guys, let's just start with the most important one there for people again that don't know you. What problems has Moveable been created to help solve?
Yeah, I'll take that one.
Let's start with home movers, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, today the home mover faces so many challenges as they go through the process. The majority of those challenges are around, you know, feeling drained, feeling exhausted, you know, a lack of connectivity as they navigate through the process. You know, with limited knowledge, with limited resources at their disposal, the end product from that is generally a feeling of fatigue. And fundamentally, you know, as a business, we believe there's a massive opportunity to change that experience and a massive opportunity to help agencies drive that change by adopting our technology and putting it in the hands of their customers to delight them. But in terms of the overall problems, you know, we're quite fortunate. One of our sister businesses connects with about 24 to 25,000 home movers every single month. So we spent a lot of time about 12 months ago, you know, diving into research around what was the experience like at the end from a home moving process, what were the real challenges, and fundamentally, how would you want technology to help you if you had to start that process again tomorrow? And the findings were really interesting. The findings kind of fell into three major buckets, if you like, of change that the home mover was desperate to see. The first of those was around a lack of knowledge of the process. So depending on what research that you read, homes turnover and houses turnover every 16 to 18 years. So it's not a process that, even if you've done it before, going back into it is something that we understand, we feel comfortable with, and fundamentally we know how to prepare ourselves to be effective within it. So the first problem that we want to solve with Moveable, and the first problem the technology solves, is help agents with an environment that will provide that additional guidance to their customers and provide that additional domain expertise to their customers using our technology. So that's the first piece. It's around kind of demystifying the process for the home mover.
Yeah.
The second piece of research that came back from our kind of connection with our 25,000 home movers was that the process today is incredibly fragmented. You know, the research told us that every home mover will probably have to interact with somewhere between 10 to 12 different product and service providers as they go through the home moving journey. Everything from, you know, mortgage broker to life insurance provider, all the way through to kind of your conveyancing solicitor and your removals guy right at the very end.
Yeah.
You know, there's a huge amount of time and effort that is undertaken by the home mover today to find those particular partners, to understand who the best player within the market is to partner with, to manage those relationships, to drive the communication within that particular relationship. So there's a massive time drain for a home mover in terms of the other products and services that they need to connect with as they go through the home moving journey. So we built Moveable to allow an agency to put a pre-built ecosystem of partners that will service all of those kind of trigger points along the way into their hand. So that's the second piece. That's the second challenge that we're trying to solve. The third piece is around a lack of a central framework for the entire journey. So there's lots of businesses, there's lots of portals that do a great job of facilitating and supporting the home mover for certain steps along the way. There's nothing that takes the home mover from A to Z and supports a more streamlined, more digital, and better communication and delivery. And there's no central repository for document sharing and document kind of distribution. So Moveable has been built to solve that. So within the technology, we can now work with agents so they can provide their customers with a central place underneath their own branding, underneath their own logos, that provides better guidance, connects them to the right products and service providers, and offers their customers a central repository to manage the transaction from start to finish.
I mean,
go on, Matt.
sorry. Just to add, I think that point about that all being in one central place is a really big one. The advantage of things being in one place, you don't need to be asked for the same information over and over again. I mean, how many times you ask completing a form with your name and email address and telephone number in the process? It's very, very frustrating. Let alone all that other information you're going to be asked that you're going to have to look up. You don't even have that to hand. At least I know my name. So I think having it all in one piece of software means you'll only ever be asked for that piece of information once. And every other time it's needed, we'll automatically populate that information for you. It's one of those little things that just makes the process a lot easier.
So that's kind of the single sign-on philosophy, isn't it? In terms of making sure that, you know, kind of, again, that just frustrates people so much. And I mean, this must be the underlying reason when you were looking and doing your research piece here. You don't have to go too far from any of the estate agency review sites, do you, to see the endemic way that people see, you know, and experience it at the moment. So it's not like, you know, everybody is aware that this is an issue. I think the challenge is that most of them think it's always been a problem. It always will be a problem.
Yeah, and I think one of the, I mean, we'll go on to talk about this later, I'm sure. But one of the big shifts here is the consumer thinking, the home movers thinking. You know, the reality is they're a very different customer than they were 10 years ago, and their expectations are very, very different from a digital perspective. So, you know, we should be building our strategies around what the customer really wants rather than, you know, what we think is the right way to go. So you're right. You know, there's not many reviews you see out there who walk out of the home moving process and say, wow, I feel invigorated, I feel, you know, time to listen, let's take the next one. People walk away feeling fatigued and kind of like, why does it need to be so difficult?
And you're quite right about the digital elements, aren't you? Because actually a big part of it now as well is over the course of the last year, that has only accelerated, hasn't it? The requirement for a good digital experience. And people who may not have been, you know, at the races in terms of thinking they needed that are definitely in that place where not only do they expect it now, they want it.
Agreed.
So, okay, so how does your product help in what is obviously quite a cluttered marketplace? How do you stand out from the crowd?
Yeah, I mean, there's a number of ways I think that Moveable can help an agency differentiate in what is an incredibly competitive and cluttered market. I think straight off the bat, you know, it's very, very simple for us to offer a white label version of Moveable, which allows agencies to put in the hand of their customer something very, very different, very quickly. So for limited investment around resources, limited investment from a financial perspective, very quickly you can provide that enhanced digital journey that the ever-connected consumer wants today. Secondly, and I think we'll all agree that one thing that virtually everyone wants more of is time, right? You know, and if you can put something into the hand of your customer, if an agent can put something into the hand of their customer that speeds up the journey, drives better connectivity, streamlines the process, there's no doubt that's going to be an opportunity to differentiate within a very, very cluttered marketplace. So, you know, we as consumers, we don't like to stand still, do we? We don't like to wait. So anything that you can do as an agent to speed up your customer's process, make it more simple, make it more connected a journey, will definitely differentiate, you know, your business from others in the markets that you serve. You know, I'm a firm believer that if you offer more, you'll attract more people to your business. You know, there's no doubt about it. If you can offer an improved overall experience that's different to your competitors, that's a great way of differentiating your business. So, you know, part of the research that we did was very clear to tell us what an average experience is like during the home moving process. We got a real sense of that. So Moveable has been built to offer a much more focused, enhanced digital experience for the home mover. And as an agent, really simply, by popping your logos on, rebranding the product as your own, you can put that into your hand of your customer really, really quickly, and you can begin to delight them as they go through that journey and answer all of those pain points and challenges that we talked about earlier in the webinar. And then the final one for me is around product personalization, you know, which is a great strategy for smaller businesses and smaller agencies. You know, the bigger brands, the bigger businesses out there have a real challenge to offer personalized products because they have to do it on an industrial scale. But for smaller agencies who have agility, very, very quickly you can get to a point where what you're offering is different. You know, you've offered an enhanced digital customer experience, which will give you a vast differentiator over perhaps some of the other bigger brands out there that can't be as agile and as focused as your business on your customers right from the get-go. So for me, there's 3 or 4 opportunities there to differentiate, and in what we all know is a very, very cluttered, competitive marketplace today.
And agents are desperate to differentiate themselves, aren't they? The old purple cow, how do you stand out from the crowd there? You know, first of all, I should have said at the very outset, I love that it's not like some brands where you hear the name Kerfuffle and you think, what the bloody hell do they do? You know, Moveable, the old, it's kind of got the Ron sale thing, does what it says on the tin, isn't it? So
exactly that.
I'm actually amazed you managed to get that as a trademark or as a copyright. But anyway, that's good because it comes through very clearly in terms of everything you're trying to do, doesn't it? So one of the key elements that I was going to ask you about, though, gents, is you can have some of the best tech in the world, but actually if agents don't on board with it, they don't, you know, engage with it properly, it can still remain the industry's best kept secret. What are you doing to be able to help them on board? How easy is it for an agent to get on board with Moveable and use it effectively?
Sure, I think it's probably best answered by me. I think the really short answer is it's very easy. We built Moveable from the ground up so that it was white labelable, if that's a word, I don't know. And by that we mean that Moveable can look like your brand, it has your font, it has your color scheme, your logo, and being delivered from your website. You know, the customer wouldn't even know Moveable existed, nor should they. And this is the work we'd expect to do with anyone who was going to partner with us, and would take a matter of days to set up. So it's literally get us that stuff. We can often kind of rip that stuff from your existing website and build up something that matches that. But in addition to that, you know, the entire customer journey within the app can be customized to suit the specific needs of a given agent. So that means the text and the images that appear inside tasks can be changed. The entire journey can be completely different. Tasks can be completely different. The referral implementations we have set up can be changed. I mean, to be honest, the platform's so adaptable. It could be about any process, not just the process of moving home. So I don't know if anyone knows any wedding planners, let us know, and we'll create them a version of Moveable.
And I should have asked this at the outset again, is what stage of the evolution are you guys? Have you just launched? Are you launching? Where are you in terms of the roadmap of as a business?
Yeah, we're live today. we're live today and ready to go. So we're actively seeking customers to work with. We have a number of early adopters that we're working with, and we're running some proof of concepts with those guys. But we're actively, looking to engage with customers today. If someone came off the back of this webinar and said, right, I love the idea, I want to get going with it, as Max said, we could have a white labeled version of the app with their branding, with their logos, and any kind of changes that they require within a matter of days. So it's ready, it's live.
Genuinely that quick. It's that quick to get on board, and that's brilliant. Okay. So,
Yeah.
well, you've heard it there from Dan. Anybody look, obviously, why would you not, to be honest? It sounds like, you need to reach out to these guys, just have a conversation with them. You can go via, obviously, the landing page on Kerfuffle. There's a lovely big pink interested contact button, or you can reach out to these guys at Moveable.uk, isn't it? Is the
correct? Yeah,
correct.
Just mention you, obviously, you're from the Pink family, and they'll look after you. Okay, sure. So is there a way then that the agents can help develop new revenue streams with this? Is that part of the kit bag, or?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, most definitely. So our research, as I said earlier, tells us that the consumer, the home mover, will need to connect with somewhere between 10 and 12 different products and service providers as they go through the home moving journey. And we, within Moveable, have a pre-built ecosystem of partners and service providers that is ready to go today. Okay. So, which goes far beyond your traditional referral relationships that we see in agency of, referring to maybe to a financial services individual or business, or perhaps to a conveyancing solicitor nearby. So the referral ecosystem is designed to support the home mover from A to Z. So everything from mortgages, protection, general insurance, surveys, handymen, cleaning services, broadband, utility switching, all the way through to removal men at the end as well, and businesses. So there's a pre-built ecosystem that really nicely, very seamlessly opens up these new revenue opportunities for an agency right from the start. As soon as you put it into your hand of your customer, the app will proactively tell that home mover when's the right time to talk to a particular product and service provider. And we manage the relationships with those products and service providers as well. So part of our background is in panel management from conveyancer perspective. So we're very, very clear on how to build panels of service providers, how to work them and collect them and make them honest to service level agreements. And so that ecosystem is pre-built, definitely pre-built already in the system. But also the opportunity to connect with the home mover post-completion is driven by Moveable as well. So because we capture data as the consumer, the home mover goes through the process, we capture data points like completion date. But for businesses and agencies who want to keep engaged with their customers for longer, want to drive a higher lifetime value of that customer, those kind of data points that give you additional engagement opportunities are a great way of doing that. So even post-completion, the system is able to connect you back to the consumer, the home mover, at those relevant times when particular products and services may well be up for renewal that you might want to reconnect with them and speak to them about. So definitely that's really, really easy.
So, sorry, I think I just cut up there. And that every agent should be looking at that, shouldn't they? The excuse to stay in contact with your clients longer term and build those lifetime relationships. If you're not doing that, you've really got to be questioning yourself. Why not?
Indeed, and hence why we built it. That level of connectivity. Not only is it what the customer, the home mover wants, but it's actually, from an agency perspective, what should drive, open and drive new revenue opportunities and engagement points for you in the future as well.
Excellent. And one of the things that comes across is if you are getting them into this kind of, as you said, ecosystem, and I think there's lots of companies that talk about ecosystems and they're really not worthy of the name. I think you genuinely are delivering on that promise. If they're enjoying that process of it being so joined up, you would like to think that they will engage more with those various touch points, won't you? That the conversion ratios will be higher.
I think that's a really big point of, if someone's involved in the process at the beginning and they're filling in all that data, actually further on in the process, it's so much easier to get an insurance quote via Moveable or whatever it happens, because I've half done that process already. If I go somewhere else, I've got a pain in the neck to deal with. So most definitely.
Yeah, a lot of people try doing kind of concierge services, and they almost feel like that it's, that you can tell they feel a bit embarrassed because again, it feels like it's hard sell. But myself as a consumer, as long as you're actually genuinely able to deliver, best in class and everything else there, I want all those hassles taken away from me. So I know I'm not in a minority out there. I mean, quite a few weird demographics in life in general, but in terms of that one, the hassle saving factor, it's got to be a massive majority of people in the marketplace, hasn't it?
Yeah, agreed. And it goes back to the time, what are we giving back here? We're giving back time to the agent, right? Because it's a seamless process, it's a connected process, and we're giving time back to their customer as well, which is such a valuable commodity, certainly in the busy lives that we all live today.
Well, it's just, I mean, I think the trend is always just going one way, isn't it? But I mean, you'll know yourself talking to agents just in particular, but the public, everyone has just run out of that most sparing and most precious of things, isn't it? Time. So if you can genuinely deliver on that, you're going to be in a good place.
Agreed.
Do you have an ideal demographic? I mean, I know at this stage it's really, we want to get it out there to the widest possible audience. Do you, in your minds, though, have an idea of what sort of forward-thinking agent will be using this, or is it literally, look, it's one of those products that just deserves to be used by all agents of every size and part of the marketplace?
Yeah, I think it's a good question, and I think at the moment it's a difficult one to answer because we've built it for the big corporates all the way down to be valuable and exciting and interesting for the big corporates all the way down to the smaller agencies across the land. So the simplicity of it, the idea behind it, it's all about for me delighting your customer. The customer is the important person. The customer is dictating how they want to do business moving forward. And Moveable is a great way to kind of digitally transform your business to support those new requirements of the modern buyer within the home market.
Okay, perfect. So what plans have you got on the agenda then, guys? I know you're obviously excited. You got it out, and it sounds really good on there. What's on the horizon? Where do you see this going?
Max, do you want to sort of talk about some of the features perhaps that are coming along?
Yeah, I mean, what we've already got here and what we just need to expand on is the integrations that we've got on offer and making sure that we're providing an all of market view of the various products and services that are out there. You kind of mentioned it earlier, Simon, but it's not about a hard sell. We want to give you as much choice as you would get by going direct to another comparison engine or whatever it happens to be, but just make it easier by doing it all in one place. I think the one area where we really got a good opportunity for growth is integration with a lot more of the kind of CRMs and other industry bits of software out there. So, I think we've done very well at integrating with potential referral partners and providers of products and services. But, we'd love to see ourselves integrating with those CRMs so that, the agents have got their CRM that are using that can trigger an invitation to the consumer and kind of put the data the agent already knows about inside Moveable and invite the user in, and then the user can just work within Moveable and do everything there. And we can make sure we're passing back any relevant data to the agent's CRM. We're already doing that for some of our POC candidates, but expanding and broadening that, I think, is our real opportunity over the next few months.
Cool. So any agents out there, any suppliers who sound like, they should be talking to you guys, again, reach out in the normal way. I've got some, obviously that's one of the key elements about Kerfuffle is we try and do our supplier match. I am the prop tech Cilla Black, basically, to try and to bring that to play. So we'll introduce you to our CRM partners, because it seems absolutely logical, doesn't it, that you have this embedded into it in a simplistic way. Your clients, their clients, everyone should just have a win-win, shouldn't they?
Agreed. Yeah, agreed, Simon. And we've built the platform to be as flexible as it possibly can be. So for integrations, two-way APIs, for widgets to be placed in other people's environments, again, absolutely ready and available today.
That's really exciting, guys. So let me just try and summarize the three main points, and I'll come back to you with any sort of closing statements if you want to make sure you want to get across to people. But as far as I can see, understanding, obviously, you know, about you coming on the platform, talking to you today here, you know, it's understanding again, what are the main pain points for home movers today? Really just, I know we live and breathe this on a daily basis, but think about what those are and how a service like Moveable can help you out with. That's first and most important. You know, that point about everyone's digital and is only going to increase. So how can you support your customer digitally while increasing the lifetime value? Everyone should be all over this. We are, you know, I know agents, when they're at the most honest, do say, look, unfortunately, we do see it as quite a short-term transactional element. And what we've got to learn from the letting side of the business is, you know, if you look at the lifetime value of it, it then shows you where you should be putting your investment and time, shouldn't it? So I think, again, that's a really useful exercise anyway on that basis. And then I think just the third promise of technology, isn't it? How do you make them more efficient? How do you give them back that you know, more minutes and hours in the day and week? So if you've got a pretty powerful 3-point sort of promise there, haven't you, for your clients? Again, it's like you need to be talking to these guys to learn a little bit more. Have I missed anything out there in terms of what we're talking about? It feels to me that that's quite concisely talking about what you guys are trying to do.
I think it's perfect. I think it's perfect, Simon. Absolutely, in total agreement. They're the three key takeaways. I think, yeah, perfectly summarised. Perfect. Do you want us to show us the platform? Show you the platform, Simon?
You've done me as Steve Jobs. Absolutely, that'd be no. Sorry, there was me getting ready to go and order my Greggs, and you've saved the best for last.
I could see you were trying to shirk away there, and I thought, let's bring it to life for people.
No, absolutely. Let's have a look at it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Have I given you the ability to share?
Yeah, we can sort that out. So let's just get the right thing in front of us. There we go. And share. So you guys should be able to see that.
We're looking at so we understand it. This is as it would look on your phone. This is the app.
Exactly that. And this at the same time, this is a progressive web app. So this is a website as well as a mobile app. You know, you get a trigger to install it on your device when you.
So the basic crux of that is, doesn't matter what device you're on, it will work on everything on any device.
It'll work on your PC, your Mac, on your iPhone, on your Android phone, whatever it happens to be.
And it's also just before you kick off, Max, it's also worth mentioning what we're looking at here is the off-the-shelf Moveable. Now, what we're talking about today is working with agencies to build bespoke versions of this for their own businesses. So the Moveable branding, where you see it, would be replaced with an agency's own logos, designs, colours. So it would look, for all intensive purposes, as if they had built the app, designed it themselves.
It's essentially, Dan, it's just reinforcing their brand at every opportunity.
Correctly, yeah. We're completely white labelable, so they can put their own brands on there as well. So for their customers, it feels like they're supporting the journey. They will never see the Moveable colours and logos.
Nice. No, it's good. Yeah, excellent.
And just for context for anyone watching, you know, I'm starting this process of brand new user. I've skipped sign up just to save a little bit of time, but this is the first screen I see once I've successfully signed up. So what we're going to take you through is an onboarding flow. We just ask 6 questions. We know we're going to get a user from any point in the journey. We're not necessarily going to get them always at a specific point in time. So we need to establish a bit of information about them. So I can search for an address. So I'm first asked, where am I moving from? I put an address. What sort of move is it? So do I own this property? Do I rent it? I'm going to say that I own this property. And where am I in that process? So my property is on the market. And so what we know now is that this person is a seller, where they're selling, and at what stage they are in that process. And again, where am I moving to? And you can see where I live by me putting these things in here. What am I going to be doing here? So again, I'm buying this property. And where am I in that process? I've made an offer that's been accepted. And then we just have a quick summary of that. And I'll move straight on into the dashboard. So having done that, we've established what sort of mover you are. And we've established basically your two to-do lists. I mean, essentially Moveable is a glorified to-do list, just telling what you need to do and when. So we've worked out what your to-do list is, and we've worked out what point you're at. And we present the user on the dashboard with a bunch of things that they can get on with straight away. We don't want to inundate users with, you've got 37 tasks to do. That's scary. No one wants to see that. You know, you come in here and you've got things that you can get on with straight away. And when you've done this, great, put your feet up, have a cup of tea, and we'll let you know when there's the next thing to do. So don't worry about that. So we've got a bunch of things that we can get on with. I won't go through everything. Obviously, we haven't got time for that today. But some of the core features, first of all, I can add a co-mover. So I can put in my wife, girlfriend's, husband's, partner's, whatever, email address. They get invited into the app. They see exactly the same view I do. So going back to the core reasons we're doing this, collaboration, I think, is one of the big reasons to embrace a digital platform, because it's not just on me or on my wife or whoever to do this. We can share the experience. We can both pick up things. We both know where it is, which just saves an awful lot of confusion in that part of the process. But crucially, of course, yeah, it's also about making sure we're able to provide you with products and services, as you said. So here we've got the ability to look for a solicitor. We explain why having a solicitor is really important. And then we load up a form. We can fill in this form and we can go and get solicitor's quotes. I won't do that right now because it's actually quite a long-winded form. But you can see here, you know, the only information I provided so far is my sign-up information and the information I put in when I was completing the onboarding process. And here my postcodes come into here because that's been populated. Nothing else has yet. But if I go through and fill out this form, then that's instantly, that snapshot of information is saved in the app. I won't need to ask those questions or answer those questions again, I should say. Another great example of we have an integration is one for protection insurance. So let's find that there. Here again, I can fill in a form. I will fill in this one because it's a little bit shorter. So, you know, we can fill in the information about the sort of cover that we want. And my details, again, just because I haven't had to fill them out before. So this will be the first time that's done.
Yep.
Again, giving away my information here. And this will then go and talk to the API that we're integrated with, return some quotes for insurance, and trigger the company we're working with to call the user and discuss the issue with them, because you know they're an expert. They can offer advice. You know, Moveable doesn't intend to be the expert or pretend that we are, or pretend that we're the ones providing the services. We just want to make it easier for consumers to get to this point where they can now say, oh great, look, here's a range of things I need. And now I can discuss them with an insurance broker and they can take me to the end of that process. So we can get them 80, 90% of the way inside Moveable, and they can just finish that last bit with the expert in whatever product or service that happens to be. In this case, obviously insurance. So
it's worth just mentioning at that point, to just cut across you, Max, sorry, that obviously we've built this pre-built ecosystem of partners that people can leverage as they go through the journey. But for businesses like agency, we know that they may well have existing partners in place. There might be a handoff to a mortgage business or financial services business, or even a case progression business. So the system Moveable has been built for an agency to integrate their own partners at certain steps along the way, if they would require that too. So yes, we've shown an example of one of the integrations in the pre-built ecosystem, but if there is a partner that a particular agency wanted to integrate in there, because they've got a great relationship with them, they've worked with them for years, they trust the service they provide, we can very, very comfortably integrate those partners into each of these steps as well. I just wanted to throw that out there as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. And just to show another quick couple of examples before we finish up, you know, I was just loading up here an example of looking up listings. So you can look up Zoopla listings directly inside the app to actually look at what properties are available inside the market.
Right.
And I think the last one, just to call out, just because it's, you know, a useful feature, we've got, you know, a document library so people can upload documents. And I think kind of the proof